My name is Richard Crawford, and I built my career on representing luxury brands around the world. And in doing so, I've had the privilege of having some truly out-of-the-ordinary experiences. But at what cost? It's getting harder and harder to blindly ignore the impact our extravagant lifestyle is having on the planet and its people. So I've decided to investigate whether there really is a sustainable way to visit the wonders of the world but still have extraordinary luxury. Can I have globe-trotting adventures without leaving a significant footprint? Well, let's find out. And by using the basic principles that define ecotourism, which are minimal impact, sustainability, social responsibility, and of course, let's not forget overall guest experience, I will rate my travels around the planet to see if we really can make a difference. In this very special two-part episode of Leave No Trace, we take you to one of the most spectacular destinations on Earth. Earlier this season, we visited the Suniva organization in Thailand, and we were so impressed with their concept of intelligent luxury that we just had to visit their original resort in the Maldives. And boy, was it worth it. So much so, in fact, that we've had to split it across 2 episodes. If ever you've wanted to see heaven on earth, then stay tuned, because boy, do we have some luxury eco-travel porn for you. They say that good things come to those who wait, and if that's true, then the Maldives should be amazing, because boy, what a trek it was to get here. Almost 24 hours from New York to the capital, Mali. But from all accounts, it'll be more than worth it. Finally here, arrived in the Maldives, and I'm really excited because I've always wanted to come here. And I'm even more excited because this is actually going to be my second visit to a Suniva property, so I have really high expectations. And of course, right on time, our Suniva representative. How are you, man? Thank you. And of course, the Suniva board is wood, which is obviously sustainable. You know, it's about a 24-hour journey to get down here, and the last 4 hours of it was from the Middle East. And as we were flying in, you see all these little tiny islands in the middle of the Indian Ocean, and you get a true sense of how vulnerable you actually are here. In fact, at one point, I kind of looked around on all the islands, didn't know which one we were going to land in. But we're here now, we're ready to go. And how are we actually going to get to Suniva Fushi, the little island?
We have arranged a transfer by Seaplane.
By Seaplane?
It's a 30-minute flight from here to Suniva Fushi.
Fantastic.
And Seaplane check-in already started, and we are ready to go now.
So it's a 30-minute flight, so in 31 minutes I'll be on the beach with a pina colada? Yes. I hope so, yes. Thank you. How are you, my friend? Thank you. And much to my delight, it didn't even take 31 minutes before there was a drink in my hand. So this feels very luxurious and very efficient. While they're preparing our own little private seaplane to take us to Suniva Fushi, we're here in the Suniva Lounge at the Seaplane terminal. And they've given me this little tablet so that I can fill out all the information, all the registration information before we even get on the seaplane. As I said, efficiency. And of course, they've given us a little refreshing drink while we're here. I'm not sure I want to even leave here. It was quite breathtaking to walk out of the lounge to the incredible sight of so many seaplanes sitting there, just waiting to ferry passengers all across the Maldives. Suniva even have their own custom designed VIP Twin Otter to get you there in style. But this raises a very important point. As part of the commitment to 100% carbon neutral operation, the footprint of all guest flights to and from the resorts are offset via Suniva's own carbon credit program. Even the transfer from terminal to lounge is via Tesla. And a good thing too, because it helped me enjoy the spectacular view just a little bit more. Whew. Well, finally here, and what was a very dramatic and beautiful flight on one of these seaplanes, which is actually part of the largest seaplane fleet in the world. which makes total sense because 99% of the Maldives is underwater. And we've arrived here at, I presume, is the Suniva Fushi airport, this little strip that we're getting off on. And true to Suniva style, they've showed up with a speedboat here to take us over to the island. Guys, how are you? Good, man. How you doing, my friend? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Can you introduce our unique philosophy? No news, no shoes.
I am actually very familiar with your philosophy. No news and no shoes. So right from the very beginning, no television, right? And no shoes on these resorts. So I'll happily give you my shoes. Thank you. And that's the last I want to see of them until we leave. That's it. Sure. So we finally made it here, Suniva Fushi, which sits on an island in the Bat Atoll in the northern part of the Maldives. Now, earlier in the season, we actually visited another Suniva property, and we were so impressed with their art of sustainable tourism that we wanted to find out where it all began, and that was here in the mid-1990s at Suniva Fushi. Now, today in the Maldives, there are three Suniva experiences. There's Suniva Fushi right here. There's Suniva Johnny, which is their over-the-water experience, and there's Suniva in Aqua, which is their floating Suniva experience, which is basically a luxury yacht. And fortunately for me, I'm going to get to check out all three of these experiences over the next few days. So let's start here at Suniva Fushi and see what it has to offer. Well, this looks like a comfortable enough place to have a seat. So let me start from the beginning. A young couple, Sono and Eva, visited the Maldives and absolutely fell in love with the place. So much so that they actually wanted to buy some property here. But the laws at the time wouldn't allow it, except for a little loophole that said they could build a hotel resort. And in 1995, Suniva Fushi was born. Now, in the first of a line of many, Suniva Fushi was the first luxury hotel in the Maldives. Everything prior to that was actually like a budget hotel. Also, the second property, the over-the-water property that Suniva built, was the first over-the-water property in the Maldives, and now today, that's kind of what the Maldives is known for. They're also the first to build a wine cellar. They were the first to charge a 2% carbon levy on all accommodation, and to date, they've raised about $2 million for the Suniva Foundation, which does incredible work around the world for the environment. And they were also the first to build an integrated waste management centre, which today is eco-central. Now, when the business first opened, Sono was very focused on the luxury aspect of the business, but Eva was just as focused on the environment. And what originally was a background program has today become the core philosophies of Suniva. They've won many accolades over the years, especially for their luxury accommodation and their first-class service, and very well deserving. But they've also won a lot of awards for their environmental efforts. And, you know, people come here because it's a beautiful place and it's very Instagrammable. But I'm actually here to see past that and focus more on those environmental efforts. But let's be honest, all work and no play makes life, well, a little dull. So I think there's somewhere around here where there's a cocktail with my name on it. Well, it was a really exhaustive journey to get here. But as you can see, it was worth every single minute. Now I'm going to take this time now to just relax. And next up on my schedule, I'm going to go check out some of the accommodation here. And from what I hear, it's pretty spectacular. But until then, I'm going to enjoy this cocktail. I'm going to order another cocktail. And I'm going to watch that sun set. Cheers. Now, the first thing you notice when you arrive at the resort is that it actually takes up the whole island, so you don't have to share with any other resorts. There are 58 villas, ranging from 1 bedroom to an incredible 9 bedroom. And they share several features also. They're made from local, sustainable materials, and they all have this really impressive outdoor bathroom space, but I'll show you that in just a second. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go straight to the top, and let me introduce you to the famous Villa number 11. It's famous because it's one of the largest villas hotel suites in the world, and it's actually 63,000 square feet. So just to give you a sense of how big that is, an American football field is actually only about 58 or 59,000 square feet. So this place would actually would not fit in to an American football field. Now it's a big property. I'd love to just walk around and show you as I go, but that's just going to take too long. So through the magic of television, I'm going to give you a quick look through 63,000 square feet. Are you ready? Let's go. And just in case you're wondering, 63,000 square feet gets you 9 bedrooms. And this is bedroom number 1, the master suite. Now begin with just walking in here. You've got your, I guess, your walk-in bathroom. Pretty decent size for any hotel room, but that's just at the front door. And this is the actual door into the bedroom. The master bedroom, ladies and gentlemen. Bright, open, king-size bed. Lots of natural light in here, so it's gorgeous. Now, with this master suite comes your own private deck with your own private pool, which looks nice and inviting. Now, this little path up here actually takes you out to your own private beach. But through this door here is one of the many entrances to the master suite's bathroom, which, believe it or not, is actually bigger than the master suite itself. So let's have a look in here. This is an example of the outdoor bathroom space that I had mentioned earlier. Now, all of the villas have at least one of these, but I'm pretty sure nothing quite as impressive as this. We'll start with the his and hers shower on the back wall there. And we have the his and hers, well, and his and hers because it's that big, obligatory sunken tub. We have the double vanity. There's a huge dressing room and a powder room, and there's even a steam room. And on top of all of that, it's all on one floor. There's actually an additional floor upstairs. So let's go check it out. There are very few bathrooms in the world that can boast 2 floors. But with a view like this, you can see why they did it. And what better way to enjoy that view than with a massive hot tub. Now, there are an additional 8 rooms to this place. So through the magic of television, let's go check them out real quick. And this is room 2, which of course has its own massive bathroom area. We'll have a look through here. Yes, pretty big his and hers vanity bathroom over there. And it most likely has its own, outdoor bathroom space with a bath over here and a shower over there. Room 3, which has an amazing view. And welcome to bedroom number 4, bedroom number 5, and bedroom number 6, bedroom lucky number 7, room 8, the kids' room, which in itself has its own incredible bathroom, and connected to that is room 9, the nanny's room. The whole villa or reserve is centered around this huge communal area, which has a 12-person dining area. It has a full wet bar, granite tops on it, and my favorite part of this whole area is a big swing. This place is titled as a walk-in minibar, but it's actually a full-blown kitchen. Now, what am I going to have? A walk-in wine cellar. None of these bottles look very cheap, but the cost of this place a night, who cares? From up here on the second floor, you get a real appreciation of the effort that's gone in to use sustainable construction methods. And the first thing that really stands out to you is the materials that they use. For example, all the support posts are actually reclaimed telegraph poles. And you'll see behind me, all the roofs are thatched. Now, all the fences, all the flooring, and even all the furniture is made out of wood. Now, during construction, they always use local construction companies, so that money is put back into the economy. During planning, they go to great lengths to make sure that they leave as little impact as possible on the environment that they're building in. Now, what I have noticed at this place is the abundance of seating. And what's incredible is all of the soft furnishings are actually made by local women using sustainable materials, all in very vibrant colors. Now, if that's not enough, this place also has a number of other features, like a fully equipped gym, of course. Yoga room. I think this is a downward dog. Games area. He shoots. He misses. And despite the fact that there's no television here, there's multiple ways of watching it, including this outdoor cinema. And if the outdoor cinema is not good enough for you, then there's a TV room. Actually, there's a second TV room, just in case you can't decide what you want to watch. Guess what? Another table. 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 Hammock. You know, I can see why they have so many seats around here. It's exhausting just getting around. So let's talk about the pool, which dominates the whole reserve. Now, they've started off by parting the Red Sea here for us so you can get really down to the level of the water. And over here, there's a huge dining area. It seats about 30 people. And a nice little feature is this bridge that goes over to the master suite. And on top here, it's made out of glass that was produced by using recycled glass at the resort's own glass studio. And speaking of pool, they have these huge bouncy nets with all these bean bags right over the pool. And just to put a big exclamation mark on this pool area, you have your own private slide. Every kid's dream. I hope that gave you just a little insight into what Villa 11 has to offer. Now, to top all of that off, it has its own private beach. And as with any private beach, clothing is optional. I'm pretty sure we can all agree that this is a very impressive accommodation, but what's fascinating is that for such a large place, it has a very low visual impact. And that's in part due to the materials used and the design. Now, I can pretty much guarantee that you won't find a property anywhere around the world this size that has as low a carbon footprint as this villa does. Now, here at Suniva Fushi, it's not all about size. So where they provide one of the largest accommodations in the world, they also provide one of the smallest. At Suniva, they pride themselves in creating a lifetime of rare experiences. But let me tell you, I have never seen anything like what I'm about to show you. So basically, they've brought me up in a boat to a deserted island. Actually, it's not a deserted island. It's more of a deserted sandbank. And they've brought everything out here. There was nothing here earlier today. And they've basically built what in essence is a hotel room right here. And it's not a tent with a couple of sleeping bags. It's a tent with a full-blown bed, high thread count on the sheets, all the amenities that you need, towel, soap, flashlight. Incredible. And when I first came out here, I was a little concerned that I would have to dig a hole in the ground so I could go to the bathroom. But oh no. They've actually installed a full commode and even got a toilet paper holder right there to go with it. So it's been a long day. I'm pretty tired after running around Villa 11, which was massive, and I'm ready to retire for the evening. But I have to be honest, my only regret is that I just don't have somebody really special to join me while I'm here tonight.
Hey, what about me?
Except, of course, my cameraman Ben. But Ben, look, I think it's one bed. I think it's kind of inappropriate. I tell you what, though, just in case, buddy, it rains. There you go. Have a rain jacket.
Oh, thanks.
You bet. And of course, stay safe. And I will. I'll see you in the morning, mate. Good night, guys. Before bed, we can't forget dinner. It's a 5-star candlelit affair delivered by the ultimate room service, a speedboat, and then very discreetly left on the bank so as not to disturb the romance. And as the sun sets slowly in the west, it certainly became very romantic indeed. The island came alive with candlelight, the stars came out, and oh, the sounds. People say the soothing sound of waves gently lapping up on the beach puts them to sleep. Well, on my island, it was truly surround sound. There are things you do in your life that will stay with you forever, and I can honestly say that for me, this experience was one of those. Morning, guys. Well, I'm feeling nice and refreshed. I got a good night's sleep, especially because I was lulled to sleep by the sound of the ocean lapping up on the beach there. Ben, did you sleep good? No, not so much. Sorry, mate. Well, you know, if my instincts are correct, we should have breakfast set up here because, yep, they come out in the morning before you even wake up and set up breakfast for you. Ben, you'll be glad to know there's actually breakfast for two. So I'm excited today because we're going to head back to the island and really dig into some of the initiatives that Suniva has when it comes to their ecotourism. And this right here is really a prime example of it. Yesterday, before we came out here, there was absolutely nothing here. Suniva comes out, they set up what is the experience of a lifetime. And then when we leave, they pick everything up and take it back, leaving absolutely no trace behind. In fact, not even my footprints will be here. But today now, I'm going to enjoy a little breakfast and then we'll head back to the island. I had mentioned earlier how impressive Suniva's commitment and philosophy was to the art of sustainable tourism. And I'm right here in the middle of it all at Eco Central. And I'm here with Gordon Jackson, who has a very interesting title. He is the Waste to Wealth Manager. What exactly is that?
Well, Waste to Wealth is a Suniva philosophy, and it's all about trying to change the perception of waste.
Yep.
Rather than considering it something we want to just get rid of, out of sight, out of mind,
yep.
We're actually treating it as a resource and turning it into useful products.
Yep, and there's a lot of different waste, right? So
exactly.
Okay.
So here, for example, is our charcoal ovens.
Yep.
And we're converting a lot of this waste, construction wood, trimmings from the jungle, into finished charcoal that can be used in our barbecues and the pizza oven.
Oh wow! So where this would all normally just be thrown away,
thrown and burnt, yeah.
You guys are actually turning it into something that has a value, which is now I'm starting to understand. Exactly. The waste to wealth, and as well as the wood you got.
Yeah, we've got natural resources like this. Our coconut trees are constantly producing fresh coconuts, and we open those about 100 a day and send those to the kitchens.
So that's where all my fresh coconut water's coming from.
Right,
it's delicious too.
Yeah. Precisely.
And then what do we have in here? I've noticed the building that we're in, the structure we're in, this is all solar panel, right?
Yeah. So we've built a solar roof over Ecocentro.
Yep.
And we use it for all kinds of activities underneath it, but of course we generate about 20% of the solar of the energy that we need for the island.
20%, that's pretty impressive. How do you increase that? Is it just more solar panels, more power?
Solar's a fantastic application in the Maldives with all the sun that we have, so it would be a case of finding roof spaces and so on for more solar panels.
Cool. And what is all in here? What's all
under
the structure?
We're producing compost from all our food waste and the wood chips that we get from chipping up the jungle trimming.
As I can hear in the background, it's a very industrial area.
Yeah, there's a lot of activity going on. And so all of that mixed together produces this great organic compost that we then use to grow our organic vegetables.
So that's the compost. I think I'm getting a whiff of it.
So there are a lot of materials which would normally, just be, we can't process on the island. So they need to be sent off. And what we do is we compact them into the smallest possible space so that we minimize the number of trips that we need to take to the recycling company.
Okay, how many trips are you taking?
So we go for about every 2 weeks. We send material off the island.
In comparison to another resort?
Well, some will have a boat going every day.
Oh wow!
So
wow, you guys are really making an impact.
Ultimately, we want zero waste, and we're working towards that.
And what is this? We got huge packages over here.
Okay, so we get a lot of styrofoam boxes that our fresh food is shipped to us in. And these are single use, and so they end up here. We've bought a crushing machine to produce this fine powder, and we're mixing that with some of the crushed glass and some cement to produce the building blocks that we're now making.
Oh wow, that's really light. So how many of these bricks have you actually made?
So we've produced 22,000 since the beginning of the project.
Oh wow!
But we've got orders for up to 100,000.
Oh wow! You guys got your work cut out then.
A lot of work to do.
Fantastic. I'm really getting a sense of the the waste to wealth.
Right.
Do you guys make a profit, or is it just break even?
Yeah, we have profitable months at the moment.
Yeah.
When we sell a lot of bricks or we grow a lot of vegetables on a particular month. We're looking in the next 12 months to be profitable every month.
Yeah. Very, very impressive operation. Now, it just started raining, and it kind of brings up the question: what is the water management process like on the island?
Right. Well, let me show you where we make our water.
Oh, cool. Yeah, perfect. As we know, Suniva Fushi is an island, and it's the challenge with most islands: fresh water. Now, it's the old story: water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. So, Gordon, how do you get from seawater to fresh water here on the island?
Well, we pump it straight in from the ocean into our water purification plant.
Okay, so this is a collecting point, and this water's literally coming straight out of the ocean. So if I taste it, it'll be salty.
Yep, it will be.
Oh yeah, that's salty. There's some coral in there too. Yep. So from here, from salt water, how do we actually get to fresh drinking water?
So we have these settling tanks here.
Yep.
After that, it's pumped through these sand filters, remove any sediment that might have been pumped up.
Yep.
And then finally to the reverse osmosis stage, the main stage where the salt water is removed, or the salt is removed from the water.
Okay. And then
last of all, it comes through to here, where it's pumped around the island by these pumps.
So by the time it gets here, it's actually drinkable water.
That's right. Yeah. You can drink it. However, we do have our own bottling plant to produce mineral water.
Oh well, you know what? It's hot in here. I'm thirsty. Can we go check out the bottling plant?
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, we can. Well, Ricky, it's just a short ride to the bottling plant now.
Now, speaking of short ride, Gordon, I notice everybody, all the guests on the island, are provided with these bikes. Mine even has my name on it, which is fantastic. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, all our guests and hosts receive bicycles. We put the names on the back so we know who's whose. And it's just a great way to see the island, and it keeps you fit too. Yeah,
it keeps you pretty healthy. Now, speaking of which, is it a long ride to the bottling plant?
No, just a couple of minutes now. Yeah.
Good, because I'm ready for that cold bottle of water.
Okay.
So Gordon, what I have noticed all over the property is the abundance of drinking water in these glass bottles. What is that all about?
Well, plastic single-use drinking water bottles are a major problem, waste problem for the Maldives. So we don't want to be part of that problem. By introducing glass bottles that can be used hundreds or thousands of times, we eliminate that waste stream completely.
Okay. And now what happens to the water now it leaves the purification plant and it comes here, is that correct? Okay.
Well, we do further purify it. We use UV sterilization, mineralize, so that it tastes fantastic, and then it finally comes here for bottling.
And I've also noticed we've got red and blue caps. What's that for?
That's right. So the red ones are carbonated, so we do sparkling water and still.
Fantastic. Well, I'm thirsty, so I'm going to take this one with me.
Very good.
Thank you. I want to get a little more information on some of the environmental programs here at Suniva Fushi. So I've arranged to meet with a couple of the marine biologists and get a little more insight. Now, you two young ladies look like marine biologists. Hey, how are you? I'm Richard.
Hi, Richard. Federica.
Nice to meet you.
Mara.
Mara, very nice to meet you.
Follow us by the water and we'll see what is happening today.
I'm ready to go. Suniva Resorts in the Maldives have 3 full-time marine biologists working to monitor and protect the ocean world that they love.
So some of our tasks are going in the water every single day with the guests. It's what we love doing. We take guests, hosts, and the local community in the water to make sure that they fall in love with the ocean and make sure that they eventually manage to protect it in the long term. Twice a year we conduct a reef survey, which enables us understanding the conditions of the reef in the moment and monitor it in the long term.
One of the projects that the team is working on is coral reef rehabilitation. They're taking fragments of coral, they splice them into a line and then suspend them in the ocean current for about a year, allowing them to regenerate and grow. So is it time to get in the water?
Please join us, come.
I can come with you?
Yay!
Let's go, let's go. A key element of Suniva's philosophy is to engage guests through education, and so they are invited to participate in the team's work. Coral reef ecosystems are very delicate, and it's important to not let them be disturbed by construction or tourism. Not only that, the coral looks really cool swaying in the currents. Wow, really interesting stuff. Congratulations on your preservation work. All I have to do now is make it back to shore. I'm not sure I have that in me.
Thank you.
Well, our wonderful and very friendly marine biologists, Frederica and Maura, have done a wonderful job of teaching us all about the coral. But the great thing about being here in the Maldives is that you get really up close and personal to all the wildlife. And Maura promises me that we might actually get to see a manta ray. Is that right? No promises. Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out. Diving in the Maldives is famous, not only for its abundant marine life, but the crystal clear waters that let you actually see it. The thought of swimming with one of the estimated 5,000 reef manta rays that live here was exciting, but you can't take anything for granted in the wild. Until suddenly, I felt a presence beneath me. And then, there she was. Being in the water so close to a manta ray was absolutely incredible. It is just so majestic, floating through the water. It was amazing, being so close to it. I actually felt a little out of place, as this was clearly the ray's world, and I was just a visitor. And then, just like she arrived, she was gone. I've noticed that there's some incredible glassware around the Suniva properties, and I've heard that they actually make it here at Suniva Fushi in their own glass studio. Now, I've just left Eco Central where we crushed our own glass, and I'm hoping to come here and turn it into something just a little more beautiful. I thought I'd start my visit by meeting up with Kevin Christensen, the director of the Suniva Art and Glass program, to find out why there's a glass studio on an island in the middle of the Maldives.
Primarily, the impetus for the program was to do something with this amazing amount of glass that we accumulate, being a resort that operates in a remote location. Yeah. So you can imagine alcohol, vodka bottles, wine bottles, jam jars, you name it, that gets shipped out to the island. Once the product is consumed, we're left with an amazing amount of glass. So really, it was a question of how do we turn that waste material into something meaningful.
Now I'm going to find out how good of a teacher you are, because I'm going to ask you to take me over there and help me make something out of glass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's give it a shot.
Okay, let's go. Despite Kevin's apparent skepticism, I was pretty sure I had a glass masterpiece somewhere deep down inside me just waiting to emerge. After being introduced to some of the studio team, including Chief Glassblower Evan, I got to work. I had an elaborate vase or maybe a life-size statue of myself in mind, but Evan suggested I start with something a little easier, like a paperweight. After getting used to the various tools, I got my glass and then put some colour into it. Back in the heat, and then it was time to start pushing and pulling it. Next, it was time to shape it, and oh boy, was this going to be the best paperweight ever, and all from recycled glass from the island. Whilst I was creating my masterpiece, Evan explained that the studio had a number of purposes. The first, of course, was to recycle all the waste glass from the island. There's that waste to wealth philosophy again. The second was to provide a fascinating activity for the guests. And the third was to actually create glass products used throughout the restaurants and rooms on the island. There is even a program in place where 4 or 5 top glass artists from around the world visit the island every year to do talks and give lessons. And before too long, I was done. My masterpiece was put away for 12 hours to cool down. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I hope it turns out as beautiful as I want it.
Well, you get to see tomorrow. It's every morning is like Christmas in the glass studio.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Well, the day is here. A big reveal of my handiwork here at the glass studio. Hey, Evan, how are you, buddy?
Doing well. How are you?
Yeah, good.
It's your work of art.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is it. I'm nervous. Here we go. Oh, there must be some mistake. That's ugly. Must be. Where's mine? That's actually really cool. It's a lot better than I thought it was. You know what it looks like? It looks like kind of an odd-shaped earth, like with the blues and the greens.
Yeah.
Which which is quite appropriate considering we're here at Suniva and everything here is about sustainability. Oh wow, I'm actually really impressed with that. I like it, I love it. It's amazing, look at this. Thank you, thanks Evan, appreciate it, man.
You're welcome.
Such a great experience, wow, excited. Coming up next, my favourite part, the food. From the least amount of food miles I've ever eaten, but it couldn't get any fresher than this unless I was actually sitting in those plant beds and picking it right out of the ground, to the island's famous, or in my case I should say infamous, 24-hour, self-serve, fully stocked chocolate room. Now, as we've seen, the eco-credentials of this resort are pretty strong and it permeates through all parts of the resort, including, not surprisingly, the food. Now, whilst they do have restaurants here, like this treetop dining restaurant, which is famous in its own right in the Maldives, they go to great extremes to create really unique dining experiences. And at the risk of a few more pounds and a few more inches around the waist, let me go show you some of those. So this is the first of the dining experiences on the island here that I want to show you. And we're back at the Glass Studio. Now, it's so unique, it's almost difficult for me to kind of explain it to you, but let me introduce you here to Chef Aaron. And Chef Aaron, tell me a little bit about the inspiration behind this dining experience.
Well, when I arrived here on the island, you know, there's a glass studio here, and I was in and out and talking with Evan, and you know, it's a heat source.
Yeah.
And just we talked over many months about it.
Yeah.
It came to a head one day, and I just came in with a load of food and started
experimenting.
And, yeah.
You said it's a heat source. What kind of heat temperatures are we using here?
It's 1150 degrees at the moment.
How does that compare to a regular kitchen if you're cooking on a stove?
It's a lot
significantly
hotter.
more.
Yeah, significantly
so that
more.
presents some challenges, eh?
It was difficult in the beginning because it just kept burning things.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
Chef Aaron and the Glass Studio team have put together an incredibly unique dining experience, which is essentially a degustation menu where heat is the start ingredient. First on the menu is a scalloped and caramelised cauliflower starter. Not only do they blacken the cauliflower directly in the furnace, but incredibly they use molten glass as the heat source to cook the scallops in a coconut shell vessel.
And they've got the chef's table that looks right into the Glass Studio, so you can watch all that take place at a safe enough distance from the intense heat that's there. Well, here we go. I'm really interested to taste a scallop that was cooked using molten glass and a coconut shell. Now, what do we got? Well, it's really tasty, but what's surprising is its temperature. It's not burning hot. I don't feel like my tongue is burning. Very interesting.
I was intrigued to see what was next on the menu.
Well, it's tuna, orange, jasmine and caviar.
Yep.
And basically, we're going to set fire to a load of leaves, catch the smoke and smoke the dish.
Set fire to, that sounds like the ideal job, right? Set fire to stuff.
And of course, pretty much everything involved in serving the food is made right here in the studio. Even the glass cloches used in the smoking.
Wow.
You get the smell of it?
Yeah. Okay.
And then that will have given a little smoke.
Smokiness to this, okay. Well, again, that's the most unique way I've ever seen any food being smoked anywhere.
As impressive as a whole meal was, I must admit the most memorable part for me was the dessert. Popcorn with a twist, literally. I thought they would use the furnace to pop the corn, but no, that would be too obvious. They made a glass bowl from scratch and then put the corn kernels directly into that, and the heat from the glass actually popped the corn. The meal was certainly unforgettable, but just in case you did need a reminder, well, you remember the glass they used to heat the scallops? That's turned into a little keepsake nugget that they give to you. I have to say, it's not every meal you get to take the actual heat source home with you. Oh, and by the way, the popcorn was a crew favourite too.
Nothing says family friendly more than a 24-hour, all-you-can-scoop ice cream parlour. Now, one of the founders, Sonu, is a big ice cream fan, so he implemented a policy where they'd have a ice cream parlour like this on every property, and who can blame them? Now, nothing made me happier this morning than seeing a kid in here scooping all the ice cream he wanted till his heart was content for breakfast. And what better way to wash down your ice cream than a little bit of chocolate? And this is a specially made chocolate room where all the chocolates are handmade on the property. I honestly don't know how everybody here is not 400 pounds. In all fairness, it's not all ice cream and chocolate here. And in the interest of a fair and balanced diet, they actually have a salad room. Now, to be honest, this wouldn't be my first stop in my culinary experience here, but it is pretty impressive. I mean, they've got a huge selection of salads here, which are all grown locally in their organic garden. And it does smell amazing. Everything smells so fresh. I just don't know what half of this stuff is. You guys don't happen to have any fries, do you? As I mentioned before, 99% of the Maldives is actually underwater. And Suniva Fushi is on one of the many hundreds of islands here. Now you can imagine, there's no real supermarket around here. It's not like you can just pop down to the store and buy some fresh fruit and vegetables. So the people at Suniva have created their own gardens. And in fact, these gardens were the first organic gardens in all of the Maldives. So I thought I'd come down here, check them out and see what they're all about. I'm here with Harad, one of the head horticulturists here in the garden. Now Harad, I'm noticing some incredible vegetables around here, spinach and lettuce, and this is why all the food tastes so fresh here on the island, because you grow it, but there has to be some challenges to this.
Yeah, main challenge is soil pH.
Soil pH.
To overcome that one, we use for the cocoa peat.
Yep. So you use cocoa peat to increase the pH?
Yeah, we can use it, yeah.
Yep. And now what's your favourite vegetable here in the garden?
Especially in the spinach.
The spinach, I kind of like spinach too, yeah. Now this isn't the only garden here on the island, there's a second garden which actually has a little bit of a dining surprise, so let's go check it out. This is the other vegetable garden on the island, and this is where they're growing more of their leafy vegetables, like their salads and stuff like that. Now, as well as harvesting them every day, they're letting some of these plants go to seed, and of course that's so they have a consistent supply. Now earlier I showed you the incredible salad room, and that's where all the product in there is coming from. In fact, I just picked this lettuce for lunch today. Chef, there you go. Thank you, my friend. Now, speaking of lunch, they really take the concept of farm to table here to the extreme, to the point they actually bring the table to the farm, and this is just like a little restaurant. Now, I talk a lot about this concept, farm to table, but it couldn't get any fresher than this unless I was actually sitting in those plant beds and picking it right out of the ground. The beautiful thing about being here in the Maldives is that almost every moment is a picture postcard moment, and tonight is definitely no exception. Here I am, floating on a pontoon in the middle of the Ba Atoll with my favourite person in the whole world, with some wonderful food and definitely some fine wine. Thank you very much. Now, it's not even a food mile in a world of carbon footprint to get the food out of here, but even if it was, I think I'd be willing to cash in some of those credits to have an experience like this. Cheers. It's not often you get excited about leaving a place like this, but considering where we're headed next, well, prepare yourselves, because we've never seen anything like it. In part 2 of this very special episode in the Maldives, we are heading to Suniva Jani, the overwater resort that is literally the definition of paradise. Look, every time you see a postcard picture of the Maldives that makes you think, gee, I wish I was there, well, this is the place in those postcards. We'll also be taking a closer look at Suniva's community programs and climbing on board a luxury floating villa, Suniva and Aqua, where I'm forced to jump in the crystal clear warm ocean, then sit in a jacuzzi, and then have a massage. Ugh.
To see just how torturous the whole ordeal was, make sure you join me in part 2 of Leave No Trace in the Maldives.